Welcome to the Meaning Mindset with Rabbi Ron. It's a pleasure to be in the studio with a guest who has flown across the world from the Republic of Lithuania, one of its best-known citizens, and that is an advocate for Jewish causes and Jewish rights and the Jewish people of Lithuania throughout the world, not only in that country, in Europe as well. It's my honor to welcome this distinguished guest, Faina Kukliansky. Mrs. Kukliansky is the chairwoman of the Jewish Community of Lithuania. She's a lawyer by profession. She's dedicated her career, I would say her life, not only to the practice of law, but certainly all of her professional life to the preservation and revitalization of Jewish life in Lithuania. Under her leadership, I would say, based on my experiences on the ground, a lot has been accomplished, whether it's restoring and preserving Jewish heritage sites, restoring historic cemeteries, that's controversial sometimes, challenging, and synagogues, of course, and building bridges with Lithuanian society and government institutions. Ms. Kukliansky has been a strong advocate for Holocaust remembrance and education. She's ensuring that both the tragedy of the past and the resilience of Jewish life are acknowledged and honored. Well, with all that said, let's go straight to my conversation with Faina Kukliansky. Faina, thank you so much for being here. I know you're jet-lagged. It's a lot of travel. I know how long the flight is. Before we talk about the past in Lithuania and things that I want to talk to you about your work there as a leader in the Jewish community and representing the Jews, not only in Lithuania, but internationally, what brings you here to Los Angeles now?
I've got an invitation of our consulate, Lithuanian consulate, to take part in the meeting with local Jewish people and to tell more about Lithuania and about the Jews in Lithuania. Also about writers among the nations. And they have some photographs and description about these people. So therefore, I am here, and beside that, I am going to New York, where I'll have a meeting with Ivo, because we have common plans for the future.
Fantastic.
And I'll take part in the Claims Conference.
I see. That's happening now.
Yeah, so that's all together.
I see. So before we go to claims, because that's a part of the conversation I want to have as well, you grew up in Soviet Lithuania, not independent Lithuania. You grew up in the post-war period, the child of survivors and a grandchild of victims of the Holocaust as well, and survivors as well in your family. What was your upbringing like in that reality in Vilnius?
You know, I finished a book about it. And I started, not I, but it was a surprise for me to write a book about me. But I didn't like it. And finally, I decided to write it myself. But not so much about me as about the Jews who were in Lithuania after the war. Because today Lithuanians, or they haven't seen Jews at all, or they do not have any knowledge about the Jews. Maybe they have something about the Holocaust, because we have Holocaust education and so on and so on. And we try to talk about it, and we have ceremonies in the mass murdering places. But talking about each day Jewish life after the war.
Yeah.
They do not have a clue. So, and my family was a pure example of the Jewish life after the war. Part of the family was killed, a big part of the family.
Where? In Lithuania?
In Lithuania.
Yeah.
And my mother's sister I have her name. I am not Faina. In the reality, I am Feigele or Tzipora, as you want.
Sure.
So she passed away in Stutthof in Poland and was left in Gdańsk. But all the rest of the family was killed in Lithuania. So we are talking about post-war trauma.
Right.
We are talking a lot about psychology, about all these things, but people do not understand. And they can't understand.
Right.
And the same as I think Jews has their own method to forget or not to remember what happened in the details. I think that the same happens with the Lithuanians, because then I'm coming to a small city and I introduce myself, but normally people knows me because I am very often in TV and so on, so I should not even to be introduced. But I say I am a Jewish. And we are talking, everything is okay, but after that I'm asking, do you know in which, in whose buildings are you living? And that is the stop of the discussion and conversation, because the people do not want to know. In some
they're
building,
living in the homes that were Jewish homes. Yeah.
That were the Jewish homes, and even some stuff is left in this
Really?
In these buildings. They do not know what is it. For example, if it is menorah, not everybody knows what to do with this menorah.
Sure.
But they avoid to talk about it, to think about it, and what especially is sad, that they do not want to know what happened with the family who lived before in this building. What family was it? So I think that instead of Holocaust education, just stamps which we are using all the time according to all the recommendation of IRA, FRA,
Sure.
and so on. It's much better and effective to talk about the families who used to live in these buildings.
Yeah.
Because all of them were killed. And not long ago I was in the restaurant, and they have a special guide who is telling about this restaurant because it's an old one. And I asked to whom that restaurant belongs. And they started to tell me about the young couple which bought it not long ago, and etc. But I am asking not about it. I asked to whom belonged this restaurant before the war. But this is not the question which these young people are asking themselves.
Yeah. Do they even have access to the answers?
I think that if they want, maybe not always, but I'm working a lot as a lawyer with the past. So you can find a lot of things about the killed people, about those who left Lithuania, even if they survived. So it depends on the interests of the society.
Right.
What do they want to know? What are they encouraged to know? And what do they do not want to talk about at all?
Yes.
So that belongs, on my opinion, very much on the system of the state, of the country, and on the forming of the society. Yeah. So therefore I wrote the book about the Jews after the war. mostly about my family, because my family is, as an example of a lot of Jews who continue to stay in Lithuania even after all these losses and terrible life.
Yeah.
But
why did they stay? Because so much history there is in the woods around your house. I mean, so much of it is right there around you.
After they were rescued from my mother's side, from the Stutthof concentration camp, those people, these ladies who survived, they did not come back. And they asked my grandmother with two still alive daughters to live together with them. But it was in my family, my mother's brother, and they didn't know what happened with him. So they returned in Lithuania. And because it was Soviet Union, before that, they were closed to another concentration camp, which was in Belarus, in Grodno, to find out if they are not spies. They were so weak and so
they went from the Nazis to the Soviets.
To Soviets.
Wow.
But finally, they came back to the native town, Šiauliai now.
Šiauliai, yeah.
They had property there. They were quite wealthy. All four children were studying in the private schools. But they were not allowed into their house. Their workers allowed them to sleep one night together with animals in them. I do not know how is it in English, but it is for animals.
Yeah, the barn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it. So therefore they left Šiauliai and came back to Vilnius looking for their son, whom they never found.
You remind me when I went to Auschwitz the first time, and I was stunned. This wasn't Birkenau, this was Auschwitz outside Krakow, Kazimierz, and I remember looking at the fence of Auschwitz, and the crematoria were here, and across the fence there was a garden and a house. You probably know exactly which house I'm pointing to, with a ball and laundry on the line. And that's the thing I remember most about that trip, that somebody bought that house and somebody was raising a family in that house. Now, you may know more about the story of those people, but there's this juxtaposition between the horror, the evil that happened just across a fence, not a wall, but a fence, and people saying, you know, it's a good place to raise our kids, and the schools are good, and it's close to the market and the school and the train station. I think a lot of people don't want to know, as we know. We're living in an age, especially now, where it's getting maybe more and more difficult to talk about the Holocaust. And a lot of people are using the term Nazi, the term Holocaust, to approximate what that was, but ascribing it to other people. It's dangerous, and it's frightening. It's frightening to see how that story is in some schools being erased.
I think it's not the danger. It's coming back to that from what the Holocaust started. So not to talk about it, to forget it, it's just impossible, and we should not allow to do that.
Yeah.
And as president of our Jewish community, which is not very big, I think that my biggest task and purpose is the memory, because we do not have anything more except the memory. And the memory, I think, allows us to prevent the same what happened. Knowing the truth about that what happened, and imagination that the children in the eyes of their parents were killed, that the whole shtetls, and we have 260 shtetls, were killed completely. It is very difficult to imagine and to understand, but it is our task to keep the memory and accept everything what we are doing. School is one thing. I'll tell him about the school, but we are trying, and we are doing that. We are repairing the synagogues, in spite of the circumstances that there are no Jews in these places and nobody's coming to pray.
You mean outside of Vilnius?
Outside. In Vilnius, we have had 110 synagogues. Now we have one working synagogue, and another we are finishing to restore. And it is a wonderful synagogue which is near the railway station. And you saw it. So before the war, the Jews who were coming to Vilnius, first of all, they were going to the synagogue, and after that they entered Vilnius, and therefore the synagogue used to work 24 hours per day. So we finished already to restore it, but there are some problems with the builders, but we'll have it. So that is Vilnius. And we have 14 wooden synagogues.
I visited one.
You saw one in Zhezhmar.
Yes.
Because it's on the way from Vilnius to Kaunas, and it's very convenient to enter it. But we have in the north of Lithuania one synagogue we gave now to we have such as a village, former village, Lithuanian village, but they're taking one of our synagogues because it's very expensive to repair it.
Sure. They're taking it and doing what with it?
What we are doing with it, so all the synagogues which we restore, we are giving to the local communities. We are not giving, we are allowing to use it as a space for the cultural events, keeping the Jewish traditions, not on Shabbat, not dancing, and just for culture.
Yes.
But my thinking is, in a village, before you could not recognize that it was synagogue because it was the same shape of the building as all others in this village.
Sure.
Now we have a nice restored synagogue in Kurkley, for example. And I'm thinking that the children from this village should ask their parents, what is it?
Yeah.
And the parents should answer that it is synagogue.
Yeah.
And the children should ask, what does it mean, synagogue? And they have to explain that it is a praying house for Jews.
Yeah.
So in this way, the memory of the Jews, we can keep the memory of the Jews, and explanation very simply. Explanation, the children about that the Jews used to live in this small shtetl or in a village.
Yeah.
And it depends very much on the local authorities if they want and they have such a wish. they would always make efforts not to forget. It depends very much, because the cemeteries, mass murdering places, all these things, the authorities has to take care about it, but because they are doing it not always in a right way, so we have specialists
who are working with them.
Yeah, who are working. And we are doing non-invasional research to know exactly the places where the bodies, the remains are.
Yeah.
So that we are doing, and we have a Lithuanian guy, by the way, who is doing this job with all his heart. And doesn't matter that he is a Lithuanian.
Yes, Lithuanian meaning not ethnically Jewish,
yes,
not religiously Jewish.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, I remember.
We have to explain.
Yes, because to us we think, well, he's American, he's Lithuanian. No, it's different.
In your country, you are Americans, and in our country we are Jews. And then I started to tell that I am a Lithuanian Jewish original.
Yes.
The Jews became very angry on me because they just identify themselves as Jews, and they do not compare it with Switzerland or with other countries where it's very normal to be Swiss, Jewish original, or an American.
I think it's unique to that part of the world. When we talk about ethnic, that term ethnic doesn't mean the same here. Obviously ethnicity does, but somebody who is Lithuanian born, we would say is Lithuanian. But if their ethnic background is Jewish, then to us that's their religion, ethnicity, but it's not their identity. Whereas that's an important part of identity. Something I saw when I was in Klaipėda, I saw the small Jewish community there and broken cemetery stones that they've preserved. You know that building well, I'm sure, and the gardens around it. And I met with not the rabbi, but the leader of the community and his wife. And I asked about the lives of Jewish kids living in that beautiful place. Klaipėda's gorgeous. And what I understood was they live a kind of careful life there. You know, they have their Jewish festivities, and I follow them on Facebook, so I see they're celebrating holidays. It's a small community, as you know. One thing I asked the daughter of a school teacher there was, not in the Jewish community, Lithuanian woman, I said, ask your mom if she's had any Jewish students in her school in Klaipėda? She must have. And the mother said, no. And the daughter said, you must have. Absolutely must have. It must be that these kids are afraid to say that they're Jewish. Is that a reality throughout Lithuania?
It's not the best example.
Okay.
Because Klaipėda has its own history. It was occupied by the Germans in 1939.
Of course.
And it was agreement between Lithuania and Klaipėda. Klaipėda region, which was done by a Jewish, very famous lawyer, Robinson. And we had a big problem to do something to commemorate him in Klaipėda. But anyway, I have this book about the agreement. But from 1939, there are no Jews in Klaipėda.
From 1939?
1939.
Okay.
It's before the war.
Yeah.
So some of them were killed, but not massively, and others, and there were very rich people in Klaipėda. They left to the part of Lithuania which was not occupied by the Germans. So actually, I know one person who passed away not long ago, who was originally from Klaipėda. All the rest, the community which is now in Klaipėda, mostly the people came from somewhere else.
We had many from Ukraine now.
Yeah, and from Russia. They became members of Lithuanian state. They're really celebrating all the Jewish holidays, but they're not Lithuanian Jews. I do not want to offend that if you are Lithuanian and Litvak, sure, it's okay, and if you are not Litvak, it's not so good. But I just can explain the life or the Jewish life in Klaipėda. It's like a small factory which is working in the cemetery. They are situated in the house which belongs to the cemetery, and they're preserving it.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, so they're doing their best to continue the Jewish life.
I'm going to ask you about back to your upbringing. I have some sense from our conversation and from what you're saying now about your upbringing and how consciously Jewish you were and how consciously you were a descendant of survivors of the Shoah, of the Holocaust, and the fact that there can't be a society that went through that doesn't have trauma. Impossible. And then you tell me about family members who stayed there, and I think about what it must be to see the sights every day of your life and to raise the next generation of your family in that same place, knowing how many left, how many Lithuanian Jews, for instance, went to South Africa. Whenever I meet Lithuanian Jews here, 2 days ago, I said, "Are you Lithuanian?" Because she's South African, actually. I said, "Are you Lithuanian?" She said, "Of course." What drew you? When did you know you wanted to work in this area in terms of Jewish leadership and Jewish causes?
So first of all, the Jews immigrated to South Africa before the war.
Oh, I see.
Mostly.
Because?
Because
Soviet
Lithuania
conditions.
was poor. No, not because pre-occupation. It was not a wealthy country, and even my grandfather also emigrated to South Africa and got another education there in Cape Town and used to work there. He was a pharmacist and an engineer of chemistry engineer, but he could not stand with apartheid, and he left back. But
left South Africa back to Lithuania.
He was in Canada, in the United States. So purpose of his all this travel was to earn more money to raise the family.
Yeah.
So mostly the Jews left before the war, and then you are talking about Lithuania with South Africans. They have an image of this poor country with wooden houses, and their purpose is mostly to get the passport of EU. Even it's
those
today,
who come back.
If they want to come back. But I know only one family who came back from South Africa. So the rest made Aliyah to Israel, and the first possibility it was after the war. First possibility was after the concentration camp. They could not. They had a possibility not to come back. After that, it was an agreement with Poland, and until 1956, the Polish Jews, because as you know, part of the Lithuania was occupied by the Poland,
of course.
So they considered them as Polish citizens, and they allowed them to immigrate into Poland. And from Poland, they traveled to Israel. And a very big Aliyah was in 70s. Rather, all the Jews left to Israel. And in 90s, it's strange that Lithuania became independent. A lot of Jews supported
independence.
the independence of Lithuania, but there were those who they were unsure about their future. And they had some reasons for that. I know that Lithuania will not like that what I'm going to tell now, but because I was involved myself in this process, so I can tell that 50,000 people were rehabilitated even before the independence. The first law of independence was the rehabilitation of these 50,000 people.
What did that mean?
That means that we suspect, my father was a professor of law, we suspect that part of them were involved in mass murdering of the Jews, and that rehabilitation of people only because they were sentenced by the Soviet court is...
for their war crimes.
Yeah, if there are war crimes. So it is not right. And we were fighting quite a long time until rehabilitation was reviewed. And about 2,500, the rehabilitation was cancelled. How many at all these figures, I can't tell because I do not know.
And what
but
was
that
involved?
But that made Jews uncertain about their future. They were not sure that it will be the same attitude to the Jews as it was in the golden, as we call, in the golden age until 1926. Mm-hmm. Then we had even a minister for Jewish affairs, and the Jews were very active everywhere in the government and so on and so on, and they were very respected as people. So that's what we want until today. And if you are sure and certain, you can stay in this country. But if we are looking into the today geopolitical situation, you are free to leave. You can flee where you want.
Right.
Nobody is keeping you in Lithuania, and to sit in Lithuania and to criticize all the time. It's not the right way, on my opinion, to live. You can try to change something. You can have dialogues. You can argue. But to criticize all the time and to remember all the time that Lithuanians were involved in the Jewish killing, and not only involved, but just killed the Jews.
Right.
It's not a way for the future.
So you make a choice.
You have a choice. You have families, you have children. They have to know. And it is an age then they started to be interesting in that. Mm-hmm. As for example, my grandson, 25 years, now he is reading the books and so on and so on. Before it was, it depends very much on the age, on the school, and on the surrounding, on the friends. But you have a choice. You can go to Israel. Thanks God, it is such a country. Right. You can go wherever you want. Nobody is keeping you in Lithuania.
So you can either change what is or not, or reject it and move away.
Or reject it, or to put efforts to make the situation better for Jews. And that is my job. Right. Not only my job, it's not a job, it's how to say, it's my inside feeling that I have to do everything what I can. Because Lithuania is a wonderful country. You saw the nature.
Yeah, beautiful.
Those people who came from Aliyah and went to Israel, and until today, my cousins, they do not have uncles, they all passed away, but all my cousins are remembering Lithuania, the nature, the good side of their life.
Of course.
So, and I think it's in our how to say, we can do or can create the situation, then the Jews would be respected in a way as it was before, even in a way than 600 years ago, the king of Lithuania invited them to stay in Lithuania. So I was invited, and I'll stay, and I'm not going to leave.
Yeah.
And it's my choice. If I one day decide, I'll leave. But generally, I am living in a democratic country, and I want to stay there, and I'll stay. And I'm also a member of the Executive Committee of European Jewish Congress. So I'm quite often, I'm also in the group of the Fighting Antisemitism. So I'm quite often in EU.
Yeah.
And the position of the EU is we want to have Jews in Europe. And we are doing everything to have the Jews in Europe. I know that it is... now, it's not the best period, anti-Semitism and so on and so on. We do not have that so dramatically in Lithuania. We do not have maybe so many refugees, but I wouldn't say that the war in Israel created much tremendous or dramatic anti-Semitism in Lithuania.
Yeah. Is that also because there's such a small community of Jews? First
of all, the community is small. Secondly, I'm sorry to say that sometimes the people think that what's going on far away, it's not their business.
Yeah, of course.
So if in Syria is something wrong, it's the problem of Syria, not Lithuania.
You had a problem in the government recently with anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
Is that being addressed in a way that satisfies you?
We do not have the problem with government. I can tell you that I am in very good relationship with the government, and I should even use the opportunity to thank the government of Lithuania. Twice we were supported financially, and that are the money from which we survive, from which we live. We have Goodwill Foundation, which is created half from Lithuanians and half from different Jewish organizations all over the world.
Sure.
And this is like trustee board, which works with the money, and we have special programs. So in other words, Lithuania, we have to thank Lithuania for that. Also, last 2 years ago, Lithuania passed the law which allowed to execute the restitution of the property. It was too late to tell the truth, because 30 years ago, then Lithuania became independent. I used to work myself on the restitution of the property rights. There were a lot of people who wanted to get to their property. And it's not only property as a financial thing, but property where they used to live before the war. They want to have it too. But 30 years passed, the people passed away.
Sure.
Their children are quite wealthy, and not everybody wants to work on this restitution issue. So, but in any case, it was a goodwill of the government.
Yeah.
And I can tell that I have a good relationship with the government and with Seimas. So I personally do not have any problems. Now, when you are talking about anti-Semitism in the government, we have a politician, and that bothers me very much, not he himself, but the circumstances that he gathered 200,000 votes with an anti-Semitic slogan.
Okay, yeah.
That means that we have latent anti-Semitism, which about we are not talking, and it is not, you can't recognize, you can't...
Of course, you can't address it.
Yeah.
If it's invisible.
But it is.
Yeah.
So that really bothers me, and here we have to work much more with teachers, yes, but it is so pashut מאוד to tell simple, that we have to work on the Holocaust education, all these programs and so on. We have to be very creative to explain the children and to raise them in non-anti-Semitic way.
Of course.
This at all this. I myself have an ideology that the people can't be divided into this and that, and you have to go be the mirror and to look at yourself and want to that all the people would be the same as you are.
Right.
So nice, so clever, so so naive, and so on and so on. People are different, and it's not only anti-Semitism. It is at all. People are different, and we have to accept all of them. So continuing that, I can tell about our religious life.
And one thing I want to ask you, in addition, is the meaning in your life, because I think the work that you do is deeply meaningful to many people that are affected by it, and presumably motivates you to continue to do this important work.
I don't know. The work is as a pleasure, and it's good that you know what you want.
Sure.
And you.
Did you always? When you went into law school, did you know the kind of law you wanted to practice?
I was a prosecutor. I was a detective. I was a policeman, but that's only because I was a Jewish and it was Soviet Union, and I could not pretend to have better position.
Meaning you were limited to the roles you could have?
Very much.
Really?
Very much. I wanted to be I wanted to study the Jewish rights in the Middle Ages. But I could not get into the university or any
Because you were Jewish.
Yes, because I'm Jewish.
And then during the Soviet period, did they limit the professions that you could go into, even in Lithuania, throughout the Soviet Union?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I got to the police, militianer. I was a militianer because they very big problems, only because the minister of Home Affairs was the classmate of my uncle.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't be accepted to the police as well. It was very much limited. The same, entering the university, you should, in our family, it was a saying, if you want to have a good mark, that at that time it was 5, you have to know for 6 or 7. Then you'll get 5 as a Jew.
Yeah. Your grades, we call them, your marks.
So we were all the time, we were raised in a way that we have to know and to study better than all others to achieve something.
Yeah.
It was a very big problem during the Soviet time to get a job for a Jew, especially in the legal environment. So what was the question?
I was asking you about the meaning.
About the meaning.
Because it's obviously frustrating work, like
yes.
every work, especially when you're fighting battles as you do in leadership.
But I'm from very Jewish family.
Yeah.
From very halachic Jewish family.
Yeah.
My great-grandfather was a rabbi.
Yeah.
And also a doctor. Mother side was at all religious people. And we continue our Jewish life after the war. We did not stop it, and I think it is impossible. So my grandfather from other side, he always used to say that he's not going to synagogue anymore.
After the war.
After the war.
Yeah.
Because if he, Hashem, saw the same as I saw, I'm not going to synagogue.
Yeah.
And he was very religious before the war.
And did he go back?
No, never.
Yeah.
My cousin, not cousin, my uncle, I think was the only one person in Israel without mezuzah. If his mother was killed during the war, he did not allow to put mezuzah on the doors.
Yeah, a rejection.
But even not talking about these circumstances, you can't make, even because of the war, because of your losses, because your children are killed, you can't change a person in 4 or 5 years. My grandmother was always with Bible. We were going to synagogue together with her to buy matzot. It was limited in Soviet time. You could, if you are bringing 1 kilogram of flour, you can get 1 kilogram of matzot. We have even a machinery, which was
upstairs,
you saw
in the synagogue. Yeah.
And I remember even
fantastic machine.
I remember even this guy, a small idol, who was baking the matzah. We had a guy in the cemetery who made Kaddish, our Lithuanian Litvak Jews.
Yeah.
And it is I don't want to say that other is worse, but to be a Litvak, it is something unbelievable. You can change everything. You can go, you can become a Christian, you can become whatever you want.
Yeah.
But Litvak is Litvak.
Yeah.
So
what's unique?
That's unique, and that's you can't buy it. You can't get it. You are just a Litvak.
To it. What is it, though? A way of thinking?
Everything. First of all,
I know what it means rabbinically. I know about the rabbinic tradition that came from Lithuania and the yeshiva tradition.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering how it plays out in people.
So the yeshiva, it's a very good example. Even if you are not from the religious family, but in yeshiva, you are getting so. At least you know what does it mean Torah, what does it mean Mishnah, and so on and so on. Then somebody is coming to be a rabbi from Russia, and they can't beat Torah. Even I understand that they are reading it in a bad way. I do not have anything against the Jews from Russia, but it is not our Jews.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be Litvak? First of all, you are stubborn, yes? You are like a goat. And if you know what you want, you are doing it.
Yeah.
Secondly, we have our language, our dialect.
Oh, I see. In Lithuanian.
In Lithuania. And our Yiddish is the best. You will not find another Yiddish in the world.
Yeah.
Even in Poland, we do not like Polish Yiddish.
Oh.
We have our Lithuanian Yiddish. We have our Lithuanian Yiddish songs. We have our Lithuanian Yiddish cooking.
Yeah.
And even gefilte fish we are doing in a different way than others. So it's like identity which you can't change. And, there are things, for example, I speak Yiddish, but there are things which I can't translate into other language.
Sure.
Because I feel them. But I do not know, I even do not know the analogical word in any language to translate it. I can't translate all the songs. I can't, for example, if I'm doing food, in my family, they're eating Jewish food, Yiddish food. How can you translate chont?
Right.
You can't translate, Floimensimas. It's impossible to translate it. Yeah, and I did so many attempts to teach other people how to cook the Jewish food, and I could not. Because they do not know the taste. You have to know the taste.
Yeah.
Zoya mit this and Zoya. You have to know this proportion. It's not written in the book. You have to feel it. You have to know it. And they're told to be a Litvak, it's a very big privilege.
What does the future look like? What gives you hope?
Future? I don't know. First of all, a lot of mixed families.
Many. Do you know the statistics now?
No, I do not, but I know one thing, that the Jewish community is like an office where the people are not coming just so. We are working with the elderly people, we are helping and so on, but you'll not find a Jew who is coming from the street just to the Jewish community if you do not have a concert or an event.
Yeah.
People are going to synagogue. And if synagogue does not work, that is the biggest issue for Jews. So we have to find the way to make synagogue alive. And it is really a very big challenge in Lithuania. As you know, after the independence, after the time then Soviet Union was ruined, Chabad came instead of, as maybe my joke is not ethnic, but I'm telling that they replaced Communist Party. So we have also got Chabad.
Yeah. You have only Chabad. That's the only active synagogue, only rabbi in Lithuania.
I'm sorry,
right?
He's not a rabbi.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he's a rabbi, he has a smicha, but he's not our rabbi.
Okay. But is there another?
We have a cantor, Chazan, who is...
whom I know in your community.
Yeah, and
but
he's a
in
very
all the towns, there isn't anybody. Latvian border, there aren't any communities with a rabbi.
But there are no Jews.
Right.
So about what communities are we talking?
Something that stunned me in Lithuania was the idea that, and I know I come from this, where there's so many Jewish families. And synagogues, you could, throw a stone. There's a synagogue, certainly in certain parts of Los Angeles, America. But in Lithuania, I remember asking about, what about a moil when there's a bris, brit milah, circumcision? They said, there's no moil. Maybe you said that to me, or Viliamo said, no moil. I said, no moil? How can it be? In the whole country? Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's.
We are bringing from
Germany. You bring in because there's nobody in the country there. There isn't enough demand. Is there, I think you and I may have talked about this at dinner once, is there hope for a shift? You and I know that there's certain countries that created incentives for Jews to come back. Is there any kind of strategic shift to bring back Jews to Lithuania, whether they were Litvak or not, but to rebuild a community there?
I do not know. It depends on the reputation of the country. We are always, all the Jews are thinking, you are asking me about the government. My first thing which is coming to my head, if this government is good for Jews.
Yes.
So.
And now you have a new government. So the question.
Yeah. So if the government is good to the Jews.
Yeah.
We can have a hope that the people would come back. For example, now we have a new museum in Shadowa, which was built by a guy from South Africa. And except the museum, he built a living house where he's going to receive his friends. And so I think that if these people would come today to Lithuania and they would see Lithuania as a normal European country, maybe it is any hope to come back. But until now, Lithuania has at all a demographical problem. It's less and less people in Lithuania. And
is that because of economy?
And
nearby war?
Maybe economy, maybe young people got the possibility to go to study somewhere else. Sure. And sometimes the studies abroad is cheaper than the studies in Lithuania. So a lot of young people are leaving Lithuania to go to study somewhere, and then they are studying, they are creating families, and they are not coming back. So it's at all a demographical problem. And for a Jewish boy, because I have 2 boys in my family, to find a Jewish girl, it's a problem because the surrounding should be Jewish.
Yeah.
You have to find somewhere. You are not going in the streets and looking where the Jews are.
Right.
So we have to work more with young people to create more Jewish families. But now we have a Jewish school. We have 700 students.
Amazing.
We have a kindergarten, Jewish kindergarten, which is full.
Yeah, and beautiful.
And the main idea, even if the non-Jewish people, non-Jewish kids are coming there, but they are celebrating all the holidays together with Jews. If it is Shabbat, it is Shabbat for everybody.
Yes.
If it is Bar Mitzvah, even if you do not have Bar Mitzvah because you are not a Jew, but you participate this event.
Right.
So if we have this school bigger, we just do not have where to put the children because it's too small.
Yeah.
The people want to go to the Jewish school, not only Jews. So that I'm sure that would help because we have teachers from Israel.
I know.
You saw.
Yeah, it was amazing. Honestly, it was incredible. And I was there a day when your daughter wasn't there, unfortunately. But I was so impressed by the school. And one of the things that integration of Jewish and non-Jewish kids does is exactly what you started talking about, which is integration of society. People not to fear each other, to know each other, to play together. That's the best thing we can do.
Yes, and also Yiddish language.
Right.
I am an Yiddishist, and I do not want Yiddish to be a dead language. So we have some support from the World Jewish Congress, and we are getting a little bit of money. I don't know how it will be in the future, but each year we are doing Yiddish courses. And not only Jews are coming. So my idea is to have Jewish language in the school as well, so that the children would study not only Hebrew but Yiddish as well, and not only Yiddish as Yiddish, but songs, culture, and so on.
And food.
Litvaks, they should understand the Litvaks culture.
Yeah.
So, but that costs money, and the school is for free. It's state school.
Yeah.
The same kindergarten costs the same as all kindergartens in the city, but for additional education you need money.
Of course.
So if we have enough, we'll do this Yiddish language, and it is very important. I can tell you that I haven't with whom to speak Yiddish.
Yeah, of course.
You old Jews.
My father, you should talk to him.
But sometimes the people are calling me from abroad.
Oh.
And ask to speak with their parents.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Our hour is completed quickly. First of all, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to see you again, and a pleasure to have this conversation with you. And I look forward to seeing you in Lithuania again in a matter of weeks. Hopefully, I'll bring my group to see the school.
Oh, wonderful.
And the community center, and as much as we can again. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Toda raba.
Thank you.
This season is produced and edited by Jonah Lipaz. Content editing by Bronwyn Lipaz. Musical theme by Amotz Plesner. Logo art by Janice Rudnitsky. Graphic design by Gusta Lipaz. Social media management by Morgan Shanahan and Sophie Bergeron. The Meaning Mindset with Rabbi Ron is hosted by Rabbi Ron Lipaz. Find us wherever you find your podcasts.